All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. How are ya? Rise and shine. It is 8 o'clock on the dot on a Wednesday morning. It is August the 28th. And this is Coffee Talk, Rise and Shine, and good morning to you. I'm WESH 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. We get together 7 days a week-ish at 8 o'clock to chat about what's going on in the world of weather. And hopefully we'll get your day started off on the right note. Hopefully you have yourself a cup of coffee. All right, we're going to do this together. All right, ready? Ziggy zaggy, ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi. And that is how we wake up. Need that. Need that on a Wednesday morning. Anyway, let's take a live look outside, see what's doing. There's Ocala. Good morning to you. Our Tower Cam network showing an absolutely beautiful blue sky. It is a lovely morning. Let me take you over to Taveri's Tower Cam network there, see what's doing. Oh, man, how pretty is that shot? The sun rising. Mount Dora's off there in the distance on the right side. That is Lake Dora. Very, very pretty. Let's head over to the tourist district, see what's doing. Disney Spring, we're looking kind of off. You can see, what is that, the Gaylord Palms there in the distance there on the left? It's beautiful sunrise. Hey, traffic, 12 o'clock, high. See some airplane out there and a couple of bugs. That's to be expected. Orlando International Airport. Oh, man. The sun shimmering on that gorgeous, gorgeous air traffic control tower. It's a beautiful morning. I love it. All right, let's head into downtown Orlando, see what's doing. Hey, there's a Cessna there. Looks like turning base for runway. What is that? Runway 7 into executive. Got the Stanton power plant there on the right. Oh yeah. All right. And last, let's come over and see Port. Oh, the water's so quiet in Port Canaveral. It's a lovely morning. It is a pretty morning. I hope you're having a great start to the day in your neighborhood. It's been a beautiful morning in mine. All right, let's talk about first warning live Doppler radar, see what's doing. And we do have a couple of showers sitting just off of the shoreline there. I'll pan it over here and kind of see. I'll lapse this. There's some rain, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. A couple of showers into Indian River County. Let me take it down near Vero Beach. Some of that rain moving in, but for our area, it's all off the shoreline, at least for now. Temperatures out the door, mid to upper 70s. Forecast today brings us into the lower, even mid 90s. It's going to be a nice and warm day today. Then we get those showers and storms. Notice, though, the timing of the storms, just like yesterday, it's more of an early event. So 1, 2, 3 o'clock, we get the storms. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock rock, it clears on out. It's going to be a pretty nice day. All right. In terms of temperatures, a little warmer than average. We'll do 93 in Orlando, 92 in Ocala, 88 Palm Coast, 89 in New Smyrna Beach. All right. So that's kind of where we're at for today. Questions, comments, concerns, anything? Looking good? Looking good. What you got on the tropics, bro? Kenneth, I got you. Let's just set up our local forecast first, and then we can. I need some coffee before we get into the sass. Hold on. Okay. All right. We're processing. We're doing the things. All right. Questions about our local forecast? I heard some Mr. Rogers in there. I'm proud of you, Bruce. I just want you to know. All right. So that's our local forecast. This pattern should continue the next couple of days. So, for example, I'm wearing the UCF shirt today strictly because today is college, like wear your college colors or what have you. We're having a little barbecue at the station, so that's why I'm doing that. And you know, can't just go UCF. Got to go Golden Knights because that was the era that I spent. But it's because college football season is here. Tomorrow, we welcome New Hampshire to town. Hopefully, charge on through that. And I'm really happy to say the forecast looks great for this football game. It's going to be hot, and of course, UCF picked black for this one. Don't really know why we did that, but I'll just stand down on that. But looks great. Warm sunset, gorgeous, gorgeous weather. Yeah. Gorgeous, gorgeous weather. It's just going to be a little toasty. And for our Gator fans here, the problem is that this current weather pattern features like East Coast stuff early, interior stuff early afternoon, and then moving west later in the day, which is good for the UCF game, not as good for the UF game. All right, here's the Gator forecast. 3:30 kickoff. That's right about the time that these storms would be sneaking into the swamp. All right. So it's going to be a touch and go forecast. We'll, of course, tweak this as we go along, but we'll get there. We'll get there for you. Okay. All right. FSU plays on Monday. I'll show you. I've got the forecast ready. I don't have like numbers in the forecast panels because it's Monday. So, but the template is ready to go. All right. All right. So that's kind of where we're at locally. Questions, comments, concerns. All right. All right. We'll get into the 7-day forecast then. Yeah, we've got a lot obviously to talk about tropically. So for today, for tomorrow, for Friday, storm chances kind of hanging where they're at. Saturday, we of course have the Lake Mary Little League parade. World champion Lake Mary Little League, which, holy cannoli, that's amazing. Love that. All right, let's get into the Saturday forecast. And the parade begins at 10 a.m. West 2's Meredith McDonough is emceeing the event. All right. It's going to be a great time. We have to support those little guys because not only are they just amazing on the field, and I'm not like an athletic dude, so like don't sit here and tease me for only going with athletic stuff. But like what I saw at the end of this game, and I've got to believe that you guys saw this too. As soon as they won, what struck me is they're 11 and 12-year-olds. They cheered, but they also went up and gave the other team hugs as they fell apart crying, right? Like we have to remember, these are children. And you knew one team was going to be on top of the world and one team was going to be devastated. And what I saw on national television is these kids cheering, and then as soon as they saw the other kids' reaction, they brought it down just a minute. They stopped and they ran over and they gave hugs, and it was not just the like standard like high-fiving. They were hugging the team. They were like, "Man, you did so great. It could have gone either way." Like I don't know what they were saying, but that's what my head said that they were saying, and I was just like, "This is a moment." This is a moment, and I don't know if, like, look, I've never watched the Little League World Series before, so forgive me for this. But, like, I don't know if that's the norm. Hopefully it is. But I was just, like, so proud. None of these kids are my kids. But it was like a proud moment of, like, oh, man, there are some good people teaching these kids about kindness and about sportsmanship and about being humble. And it was like, okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is what I want. Destiny says some of our kids have better sportsmanship than the adults. As long as we teach them that way, then absolutely. And we need to learn a thing or two if that's not the case. So that was a super great moment for me personally. I loved that so much. Jay says, imagine if adults could do that for one another. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There was a thing yesterday, and then we can get into this morning's future cast. There was a thing yesterday. So I took my son, he's doing scouting, and yesterday's lesson, he's a little guy, right? But the lesson yesterday was on being friendly. The lesson yesterday was being friendly. And the thing, like the quote was to be friendly to everyone, no matter how different they are. And the idea was, it's like they could look different than you, they could think different than you, they could act different than you, but to be friendly. And I'm like, man, a lot of adults could think this way. We could teach this to a lot of adults. So I loved that, and anything that we all can do to make the world a better place. You're like, shut up, boy, I'm just here to listen to the weather. Apologies, but I gotta throw in, it's called coffee talk, not weather talk. Gotta throw in a little something positive every now and then. Wow, Jeannie says every language knows a smile. If that didn't just strike, you know? So, anyway, there's something to that. All right. Oh, love you all. Love you all. Jeannie says we need some fluff moments, right? I don't know. I These are just like things that that hit me in the last couple of days, and talking about the Little League parade, we're celebrating these young men and the families that are surrounded, like let's celebrate not just the fact that they were so amazing on the field in the game, but how they were amazing to the team that they played. I don't know. That to me is honestly, that character is what's going to take them. The victory on the field was an amazing moment, but that sportsmanship. Anyway, all right. Futurecast for sorry. Talk weather. Sorry. All right, here's this morning. Couple of showers we see along the coastline, right? 10, 11 o'clock. Those showers are starting to sneak inland. Brevard friends. I'm telling you now. Oh, is the parade at Disney? I know there was a parade. Is it at, I know there was a parade at Disney. Is it today? I didn't know that. I didn't know it was today. Might be. Lori says, love that they are teaching that. I have an Eagle Scout. Agree about adults. Clear your trauma bonds. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. Right? Those kids gave us a ray of sunshine, Jessica. Right? Wendy says Thursday in Magic Kingdom. I was say, I thought it was tomorrow. Okay. All right. Anyway, so here's 11 o'clock in the morning. Uh, Seeing where we're at, a couple of these coastal showers. Notice they're sneaking inland, 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock, moving inland, right? George says, by that Mooney. Working on it, bud. Working on it. Things are progressing. I'll just say that, Mr. George. Good to see you, though, buddy. All right. 1, 2 o'clock. Rains are moving into the metro. At this point, the heat fires up some thunderstorms, right? Things work off to the west. And then look at 5 o'clock. It's all the West Coast's problem. It's my brother Frank's problem. Keep it going. And then here's what's interesting, though. Notice 7 o'clock, Futurecast trying to throw in a few more showers. Like, what are you doing, buddy? 8, 9 o'clock, may have a few lingering showers late at night. Now, that said, let's go into the extended Futurecast to tomorrow, right? Same idea. Lunchtime tomorrow, showers interior, moving inland afterward. 5 o'clock tailgating, may have a sprinkle or two around, but for the UCF Knights game, giddy up. Giddy up. Love that. So anyway, back to the 7-day forecast, because we were talking about the Little League World Series champion parade, right? That's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, long weekend, and hey, we're looking good. We're looking good. We've got a couple of storms around, certainly. Rain chances do go up a little bit on Monday into Tuesday. All right. Julie says, this is off topic, but Kellyanne didn't have much of a honeymoon. I see she's on the air this morning. She's taking a bigger trip at some point later. Yeah, I don't remember when, but she's taking a bigger trip. Yeah. Is my forecast for rain Friday evening for the opening of Halloween Horror Nights still valid? Chuck, I think we'll be okay, man. If we go back to the long range futurecast, I believe it goes out to Friday. I mean, look, there's Friday 6 p.m. rain, but it's sneaking away. And aside from a quick shower or so, we're looking good. So for Halloween Horror Nights on Friday, we're not looking bad. For Friday night football, Coco heading to mainland, for example, not looking bad. We're looking pretty good, y'all. We're looking pretty good, y'all. Like it. Like it, like it, like it. Gisela says, thanks for the info. We will bring our ponchos to Disney tonight just in case. It's not a bad call. Not a bad call. As Jeremy Irons once sang, be prepared. Scott, good morning, buddy. Loving the Golden Knights shirt. Charge on, baby. Yeah, I last year I had the one I wore when we went flying, Scott, was my Citronaut shirt. I had like 3, I think, made last year, 2 or 3 made last year. This is one, and then I've got the black one that I'll wear tomorrow at the game. And then I probably need to get some more. Listen, this may not be something to admit on a broadcast forum, but here we are. I got custom shirts made because when I looked around, I just didn't see what I liked. So I don't know that I broke any laws. I don't, maybe? We're not going to talk about that. But anyway, here we are. Gisela, thank you. Thank you. I'm lucky to have you all in the mornings. I appreciate each and every one of you. All right, to the tropics, to the tropics. If as long as we don't have any other stuff to talk about locally, we can get to the tropics. Okay, to the tropics. Let's talk. Okay, a couple of things. Frank, oh, you totally did. We're not going to talk about that. All right, to the tropics. So here we are. Let's just kind of take a little bit of a tour. We've got some moisture bubbling up here in the Gulf of Mexico. Nothing terribly. We'll give it a second to go buffer the higher resolution tiles. Ooh, Gisela says, as an embroiderer, you're good. Let me know if you need anything else custom. I was about to do some ordering for this year, Gisela. We might need to talk. To the Batcave. All right, so Gulf of Mexico, watching some moisture bubbling up out there off the coast of Texas. For right now, nothing trying to get fired up, okay? Elsewhere, we've got this little area here near Bermuda, kind of just south and east of Bermuda there. Nothing crazy. Man, I look like a 16-year-old here. Here, my nose and my face. Like, what is happening right now? And then out here into the open Atlantic, a couple of waves, including some decent stuff coming off the coast of Africa. So we've got some areas to watch. Now, that said, let's get into some of the areas that were, highlighted by the Hurricane Center. This area here, Hurricane Center saying there's a 10% chance of formation, more than likely not going to get going there. And then there's this same area out here in the open Atlantic. Hurricane Center says models are showing over the next couple of days 20% chance there. All right. So a couple of areas, nothing overly scary. Couple of areas to watch in the Atlantic right now. Nikki says saw a very hype post yesterday that 2 storms were going to hit the Gulf next week. Oh my God. Cool. No. There are 2 areas that we are watching right now for development, and they both have a low chance of formation, as in not high, as in not even medium. Okay, but all right. Well, but the models say, well, let's look at the models and let's get some information on it, okay? Okay. Sometimes I just want to insert thing. I don't even know what to say. All right. So here we are. And we'll go to the full basin view. Now, what we're looking at here is mean sea level pressure normalized anomaly. Okay? Blues are lower pressure, oranges and yellows are higher pressure. Tropical systems are lower pressure. Okay? All right. Rich is asking, how's cruising in November? Not bad. I'm going to cruise at the end of September. Your weather guy's going to try and cruise at the peak of hurricane season. We'll see if that plays out. Hopefully it does. Okay. Some low pressure, nothing crazy, but there's a wave coming off of Africa that may try to bubble up. Yeah. All right. So the open. All right. So let's just track that back. I'm looking off the coast of Africa here. So it's like the wave coming off of Africa next. The GFS, at least, tries to develop it. You see something off the coast there of the Carolinas. Actually, it's like the Outer Banks there into the northeast. And lowering pressure around Florida around the 6th. And an area of low pressure perhaps out in the Gulf of Mexico around the 8th. So it looks like, we've got maybe in the first week of September, we've got a couple opportunities of things. Right? And we see some areas of low pressure there. See that down there near the Bay of Campeche in the southern Gulf of Mexico, that 1,003 millibar low, maybe something there. But there's no major signals of a hit. All right, let's come even closer and let's just look. So right in here, top of your screen at about the 70 west latitude there, something developing, right? That's a week from tomorrow, a week from Friday. At the same time, like watching sloppy weather over Florida in the Gulf of Mexico. All right, now that fits our long range hurricane season forecast pattern. So Jay's asking, how does this track with your long range modeling? So that's Sunday, September 8th. So let's just give me 2 seconds here. Let me dial this up. All right, so March the 1st, we highlighted. This is what happens when you direct and produce all of this live. So on March the 1st, we highlighted an area of low pressure we called the Gulf Coast Low and basically said these return dates. Now, June 3rd through 8th, July 19th through the 25th. Both of those times it didn't hurricane, and I'm not saying it's going to hurricane this time, but there was an area of low pressure. There was a storm system there each time. If you go back and look, there was something there. September 3rd through the 10th, we are watching this area from Louisiana to the Big Bend of Florida for an area of low pressure. In that September 3rd through 10th timeline, there's the GFS. That is September 8th. Watching that area in the Gulf of Mexico for something. So it lines up. Put that forecast out. Now we've changed that. We've shuffled the dates a little, couple of days, I think. But that, okay? But there's no significant hit, thankfully, no indication of a significant hit. And then, of course, we see there's that Bay of Campeche. Deal down there in Mexico. All right, so there's that. That's the GFS. Let's switch over to the European. I'll go to the basin view. Now, the European wants to get a little bit more active sooner. Look at that, like off the southwest Florida coast around September 1st. Nothing organized, but broad low pressure. Okay. Open Atlantic lowering pressure. Developing in the open Atlantic. And then something perhaps in the Gulf of Mexico, super weak. Okay. So that's the European. If we switch out and go beyond with the European's AI model, something in the Gulf, the Caribbean, and the Atlantic. Couple little areas of stuff. All right, so that's the operational models. Now let's look over at the ensembles. And for those of you that are new, the ensembles are ways to look at the GFS and the European with some subtle tweaks. So when we look at the operational GFS and European, you're looking at one model and one run of one model. But what's nice is on the ensembles, you're able to see basically 30 versions of the GFS and like 50 versions of the European. So what you're looking at here is all of the different panels. Of course, that does us no good unless you're like squinting and you're like, I think it's like trying to watch channel 99 when you were a kid. You're like, is that a storm? So let's back this up. Let's look at everything overlaid on top of each other. And let's see where we're at. All right. So fairly quiet. There's September 1st. Starting to see some ensemble members waking up, right? Yeah. And so by like the 7th and the 8th, what we end up with is different scenarios, some in the Gulf, some out east of us, but there are different scenarios where there's probably activity to track around the 7th and the 8th, right? I'm surprised nobody bit on my little comment a second ago. Surprised. Right? All right. So we've got some ensemble support for something around. Scott did. Okay, Scott did. That's funny. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So that's the GFS. Let's look at the European. Ba-ba-ba. Go to the 0Z because it goes further out. And yeah, so there's some ensemble support, not a ton, right? But there's some ensemble support Gulf around us, somewhere around us. Thank you, Sammy. It wasn't, it just is what it was. I'm not the best with analogies. So 7th, 8th, there's ensemble support for something to watch, right? And it just depends on what model, what ensemble. But we are in the pattern. Cindy. Oh Dan, oh God. All right. So we're in the pattern where we know there should be something in the vicinity. All right. That was what we put out on March the 1st. The dates, the pattern. So we'll need to watch things. And of course, we know that we are working closer and closer to the peak of hurricane season, right? Right? That's where we are. We're working up to the top of the mountain. Those models are zeroing in on us on the west side. Terry, they're just showing that more than likely we'll start to see some form of development. Next name on the list, by the way, is Francine. So there you go. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. How we doing? Questions, comments, concerns. That's where we're at. Samantha, for your decor question, I follow the Magic Kingdom rule. When the Magic Kingdom puts up fall, I put up fall. When MK puts up Christmas, I put up Christmas. I think we can do fall. I would probably hold off on the spookier stuff personally. I just need to try and make sure to get that the kids are I want to make sure my kids are happy. Isn't that what it's all about? You guys are asking about the Pacific. Here's the Pacific right now. You've got Gilma and Hector out there near Hawaii. All right. Just for, oh, I have to hit this button so that you can see it. There it is. There's Gilma and there's Hector. Yeah. They always say, I was always taught, when the Pacific is active, the Atlantic is not. When the Atlantic is active, the Pacific is not. And that has to do with the Madden-Julian oscillation. So let's look and see where we're at. Obviously, the Pacific is much more inviting for tropical activity right now. The Pacific goes out of phase, and around September 2nd, 3rd, we start to see some of that green showing up. Some of that green showing up in the Atlantic basin. And then we're out of phase around the 8th. Like whatever's there will be there, but then we're out of phase. Yeah. But for the next couple of days, we are pretty in phase around the coast of Africa. So we'll have an opportunity to develop some stuff. But yeah, the MJO has just not been favorable for tropical development in the Atlantic basin. We've had some windows and we've developed in those windows, but that's been about it. No complaints from me. We're actually falling behind now. We've had 5 named storms, okay? And the average for named storms through today is 5.9. So we have now fallen behind average in named storms. But if you look at the ACE metric, we've had 55.1 ACE points. The average through today is 30.3. So we're still well above average there. Yeah. Terry says no complaints here. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Yeah. Oh no. Yes, I believe I've heard of corn, Karen. Oh yeah. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, friends. How we doing? Looking good for now. Let's keep the tropics nice and quiet. I can spell MJO. Yeah, see, that's an acronym we know. I'm good with falling behind. Just hope we aren't a late bloomer this season. Well, remember, we enter into that new weather pattern for October, November. So that's where my hurricane season forecast is out. Yeah. Tim, is there any Tim, is there any surprise? There should be no surprise. Tim and I went flying last week, and all Tim has heard me talk about since is Mooney. So this just shows the pathetic nature of me. And then like the pimples, like I'm 16 again all of a sudden. Cool beans. Okay, so Samantha's asking, did you see the new Twisters movie? How accurate or not were the meteorological references? So I made a promise. I was on Monday. The gentleman that was helping fill up the airplane's gas was like, "All right, I got to ask about Twisters," and I said, "I have not seen it yet." So now I've had two people ask me about the references. I probably at this point need to go find a time to go watch that movie so that I can chat about it. Right? So I'm gonna get there eventually. Pathetic is awesome. As long as pathetic is awesome, then we're good. Yeah. Claudia Ann, I will be spending the next week in Anna Maria Island. So this pattern is really favoring everything to move in to the West Coast. So I would say quiet in the morning on the West Coast, but stormy in the afternoon. Mike's asking, did you ever get the picture made of your Blue Angels Day? No. My plan is to take this picture and put the shot that Mike took of the Super Hornet and Chopper 2 and put it in there. So, yeah. I need to do that. I need to do that. I'll do that eventually. You've waited so long, it's probably on Netflix already. Well, it's cheaper. It's cheaper that way. I don't have to pay for it. Or we could do an illegal stream and we can just watch it together. I'm not going to do an illegal stream. I've pretty much already said that I inadvertently broke some laws making this shirt. So I don't know. Here we are. I'm not fond of the new Twisters. They took a lot from Twister. Haven't watched it, but the trailer was enough for me. How can you even say that if you haven't seen the movie? Don says it's on Prime. All right, there you go. It's on Prime for $20. Can I wait until it's $5? Can I do that? You need to do a lot. I need to do a lot of things. I know. I know. Tiffany, no laws were broken. It's only if you sell them. Okay, yeah, not selling them. Not selling them. Shirts are legal if you don't claim them to be authentic. No, no, not claiming that. Don says it's still cheaper than going to the theater. There you go. Post your address and we'll all watch it together. There you go. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good times. Good times. Cheapskate. Hey, man. My hobby is flying. Believe me, I'm not cheap. I just, I gotta put the money in the right spot. Twisters was just as ridiculous as the first one, which is perfect. Yeah, I loved the first one until I became a meteorologist, and then it like hurt my head. So I feel like that's probably going to be the same thing for the second one. We'll see. Diane, that's right. I have priorities. It's not that I'm a cheapskate. Believe me, man. Believe me. Flying is not cheap. But I got to allot all my money to. And I had a leak in my pool, y'all. I had a leak in my pool. Got to get that fixed. So, yeah, I'll wait for Twisters to be cheap. Don't post your address online, Michael says. I'm not posting my address online. Although it's Florida, so dot, dot, dot. Do your thing. Do your thing. You mean you don't drive around with Dorothy all over Orlando in case a tornado pops up? I don't, as it turns out. No. Although I did see somebody with like a 95 Dodge Ram that was beautiful color of red. And they absolutely turned it into the Twister truck. Like they put a Dorothy in the back. And I'm like, if I had a pickup truck, if I had a 95 Dodge Ram or a 96 or what have you, I feel like I would do the exact same thing. I feel like I would have had to put a Dorothy in the back, right? I feel like I would have had to do that. All right. Have you seen the Progressive commercial where everybody's talking about the weather? It's one of the don't be like your parent type. Oh, I've seen it, Steph. That's my life. Imagine being on a first date with me. Like, Steph, hey, nice to meet you. So tell me about yourself. This is the part of the first date where we talk about weather. And you have to understand that weather is a thing that I'm going to talk about. Dan says public records will give addresses, but we should get a large projector screen and high def projector and do a watch party at a park. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's Florida. If you want to be a creeper, you can find anybody's address. But please don't come knocking at my door. That's terrifying. Dorothy to me is just an R2D2. It's just a poor man's R2D2. That's right. Then football and then flying. I mean, Yes. Flying football. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Anybody have any questions about the weather? Just makes me think of all of us watching you and chatting every day. Yeah, those commercials. I mean, basically, all we do is we have a first date every morning at 8 a.m. We talk weather. It is what it is, Jamie, if you want to be a creeper. I mean, right or wrong, right? Right? Carrie says, I'm such a look at that cloud girl. Ever since I took my wife flying, she's like, I look at clouds so differently. And I'm like, why didn't we do this when I was dating? All right. Questions, comments, anything? Anything? Diane says this daily first date makes my day every day. Me too. Thank you. Thank you. As I continue to sip coffee. All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for coffee talk. We'll do it again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Does that sound good? Sound good? All right. Very good. Tiffany's asking, I'm concerned about my pool. How did you find the leak? I called and I paid full price. So this is not a discount thing. I called like Aaron's Leak Detection. Guy that built my pool, he and I stay in touch and we send each other really inappropriately snarky text messages all the time. And I said to him, you built me a crappy pool because it's leaking. And he said, or you're a crappy user and you didn't take care of it. And after we continued doing that, he's like, I suggest Aaron's Leak Detection. So I called them. They came out yesterday. They're fixing it today. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's not, it is just, this is what it is. Home ownership and settling and all that. So anyway, call them. Cindy, so we're dating? Don't tell my wife? Oh my God. Y'all, I'm going to get fired or dumped. We'll see. Be the sunshine to someone else's day. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.